What's up, my soy boys? It's time to react, oh yeah, to, why is modern art so bad from PragerU? This video is gonna really suck ass. So it's 3:08 a.m. And, I've seen this video. I saw it a couple times, a long time ago. I don't really remember it. I remember the guy who does it looks like a really fucked up Larry David or something. That's the only thing I remember about it. Am I right? Kinda, I guess. It's not really that close. Anyway, let's start watching it. Let's see what happens. I'm sure he's gonna make some really great points. I'm sure I'll totally change my mind about modern art by the time with this video.
The Mona Lisa, the Pietà.
Ooh, beautiful.
The girl with a pearl earring.
Oh, I like it.
For a score of centuries, artists enriched Western society with their works of astonishing beauty. The Night Watch, the Thinker, the
I like
Rocky
that one
Mountains.
because it looks like a person.
Master after master, from Leonardo to Rembrandt to Bierstadt, produced works that inspired, uplifted, and deepened us. And they did this by demanding of themselves the highest standards of excellence, improving upon the work of each previous generation of masters, and continuing to aspire to the highest quality attainable. But something happened.
You know, there's absolutely no debate about what quality is. There's no debate about what improving is. Look, if you draw a picture and it looks like a person, and your drawing of a person looks more like a person than the other person's drawing of a person, then you're better. That's the conservative way.
On the way to the 20th century, the profound, the inspiring, and the beautiful were replaced by the new, the different, and the ugly.
Ooh,
Today, the
ugly.
silly,
Like
the
me.
pointless, and the purely offensive are held up as the best of modern art.
Dude. I love that that Warhol painting that just says silly.
Michelangelo carved his David out of a rock. The Los Angeles County Museum of Art just offers us a rock. A rock. All 340
Can you
tons
believe
of
this, people? Someone put a rock on a passageway in the LACMA. It's a rock. This is the fall of Western civilization.
That's how far.
By the way, you ever, like, no one else says that besides these, like, reactionary, like, right-wing type guys. This is the end of Western civilization. How fucking dramatic. Can you imagine? There's apparently like 100,000 things are going to be the end of Western civilization. Dude, if Western civilization is so fragile that like a bunch of feminists are going to end it with their dank hot takes on Twitter, you know, it probably deserves to go. It doesn't sound like a very stable culture to me. But anyway.
Standards have fallen. How did this happen? How did the 1,000-year ascent towards artistic perfection and excellence die out? It didn't.
Well, it was the SJWs.
Beginning in the late 19th century, a group dubbed the Impressionists rebelled against the French Académie des Beaux-Arts and its demand for classical standards. Whatever their intentions, the new modernists sowed the seeds of aesthetic relativism, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder mentality.
Completely wrong.
Today, everybody loves the Impressionists. And as with most revolutions, the first generation or so produced work of genuine merit.
This guy's a
Monet,
Lenin fan.
Renoir, and Degas still maintained elements of disciplined design and execution.
Still kind of looked like things that I can look at and say, oh, that's a house. Oh, that's a person. I know what that is. But then later on, they got too damn creative. What the hell is this bunch of colors? What is supposed to be a dove? No, it doesn't even look like a dove. Ah, I'm so mad. I want my painting to look exactly like a dove. What's a photograph? I don't know what that is. I just want it to look exactly like what I want it to look like.
Standards declined until there were no standards.
Oh, I love this scientific graph. That's a good chart, isn't it? You can see right here that now you might doubt that modern art is bad, but have a look at this graph. as you can see, standards are doing pretty good in the 1800s, and they sharply increase in around 1870. But then, when the SJWs take over, instant plummet in the 1970s. So, honestly, case closed.
All that was left was personal expression. The great art historian Jacob Rosenberg wrote that quality in art is not merely a matter of personal opinion, but to a high degree objectively traceable. But the idea of universal...
put that one out there without any proof at all. That's a real quote. See, this guy's smart. He knows what he's talking about. If you look at the evidence, really, the Earth is actually flat. I rest my case. This smart guy said that, so it must be true.
The universal standard of quality in art is now usually met with strong resistance, if not open ridicule.
Yeah, especially if you don't have any evidence at all that it exists. Then it's really met with strong ridicule. I can't imagine why. It must be the feminists.
How can art be objectively measured?
Maybe he will address it.
In responding, I simply point to the artistic results produced by universal standards compared to what is produced by relativism. The former gave the world the birth of Venus and the dying Gaul, while the latter has given us...
Well, what's the difference between these two things? Why is one of them better? Well, look at this stuff that's really good. And then look at this stuff that's really bad.
The Holy Virgin Mary, fashioned with cow dung and pornographic images.
It's got cow
Petra,
dung in it.
The prize-winning sculpture of a policewoman squatting and urinating, complete with a puddle of synthetic urine.
Synthetic urine?
Without
these bad things, guess what? They're from modern art. And these good things are from classical art.
Aesthetic standards, we have no way...
Checkmate, atheists.
...to determine quality or inferiority. There's a test...
It's almost like that's the entire point. He's so close to getting it.
I give my graduate students, all talented and well-educated. Please analyze this Jackson Pollock painting and explain why it is good. It is only...
By the way, I sort of cheated out. You've seen this video, but it turns out this is not a Jackson Pollock painting. And I would like to point out that anyone in art class, okay, anyone who's studying art, I don't know fuck all about art, okay? But now that I've read about, like, the sort of modernist movements and stuff like that, sure as shit that is not a Jackson Pollock painting. And anyone who is in an art class would know that. So, there's two possibilities. Either this story is made up, or he's such a terrible art professor that his students can't even recognize a very, very obviously fake Jackson Pollock painting. I don't know which one's more hilarious, honestly.
After they give very eloquent answers, that I inform them that the painting is actually a close-up of my studio apron.
Oh, got him.
I would probably have done the same, since it's nearly impossible to differentiate between the two.
It really is absolutely not impossible to differentiate between the two. If you look up a Jackson Pollock painting, it looks absolutely nothing like that. Absolutely nothing like that. It's very, honestly, terrifying that this guy's an art professor.
And who will determine quality is another challenge I'm given. If we are to be intellectually honest, we all know of situations where professional expertise is acknowledged and depended upon. Take figure skating in the Olympics, where artistic excellence is judged by experts in the field. Surely we would flinch at the contestant who indiscriminately threw himself across the ice and demanded that his routine be accepted as being as worthy of value as that of the most disciplined skater.
Two completely different things there. First of all, there are absolutely scoring contests for art. In school, for example, if you go to an art school, how closely does this resemble the image, that is given? If you're doing a still life drawing, for example, well, you're not going to get full marks for doing a weird, like, impressionist, painting when you're trying to draw a human figure, for example, and you're studying, how to draw. Now, when someone's figure skating, they're not trying to evoke an emotion in the judges' hearts or whatever. They're trying to show off their technical expertise. That's the entire point of it. And I agree that if someone fell on their ass when they were doing a figure skating routine, They should not get full marks because they have inadequately demonstrated their technical skill. Likewise, if there was a painting contest to create the most realistic painting possible of a river, for example, and someone made an impressionistic, painting, I would say, well, that doesn't look anything at all like a realistic painting of a river. So very easily you can see these two things are not equatable at all. But of course, who has time to think about this kind of stuff? You're too busy hating the millennials or whatever.
Not only has the quality of art diminished, but also the subject matter has gone from the transcendent to the trashy. Where once artists applied their talents to scenes of substance and integrity from history, literature, religion, mythology, etc., many of today's artists merely use their art to make statements, often for nothing more than shock value. Artists of the...
And that's bad, because it's different, or whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of done with this video.
Past also made statements at times, but never at the expense of the visual excellence of their work. It's not only artists who are at fault. It is equally the fault of the so-called art community, the museum heads, gallery owners, and the critics who encourage and financially enable the production of this rubbish.
What he means to say is that they're all Marxist Jews, but I guess he's not willing to go that far in this video. He's not going to go full conservative in this one. Or what do you like, neoconservative? What do you call this? Like where it's like, Hitler did really good stuff for the German economy. That kind of conservative, which is what this whole channel is. So he sort of left out the Marxist Jewish Zionist conspiracy or whatever. Although I have to say about this channel, actually, they usually don't say stuff about Jews because the founder is actually a Jew, and a lot of the time with more modern conservatives and even some fascists, it's actually kind of cool to like Jews now because of Israel and stuff. So they're like hip conservatives here. They really like Jews, actually. Now they hate Muslims. That's the new thing. So maybe it's gonna be a Muslim Marxist conspiracy soon. I'll be looking forward to that. Just kidding. I'll blow my brains out.
It is they who champion graffiti and call it genius, promote the scatological and call it meaningful. It is they who, in reality, are the naked emperors of art. For who else would spend $10 million on a rock and think it is art? But why do we have to be victims of all this bad taste?
Why does it personally offend him? I don't get it.
We don't. By the art we patronize at museums or purchase at galleries, we can make our opinions not only known but felt. An art gallery, after all,
God bless
is a
America.
business like any other. If the product doesn't sell, it won't be made. We can also support organizations.
Nice job. He shoehorned in a little endorsement of free market capitalism there. A little subtle, You gotta fit one in. He's trying to get conservative bingo, okay? So give him a break.
Organizations like the Art Renewal Center that work to restore objective standards to the art world. And we can advocate.
The Art Renewal Center honestly sounds a little bit terrifying. Can you imagine, like, Art Gestapo, like, breaking into the MoMA and tearing down all the Pollock paintings and Duchamp freaking sculptures and putting up a bunch of Rembrandt and shit, breaking everyone's kneecaps, all the hipsters.
The teaching of classical art appreciation in our schools. Let's celebrate what we know is good and ignore what we know is not. By the way, the white background you see behind me is not simply a white graphic backdrop. It is a pure white painting by noted artist Robert Rauschenberg at the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. I'm Robert Florzak for Prager University.
Ugh. Well, that was tough one to get through. We made it though. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. I love you. Bye bye.